One of the great pleasures of parenting is planting and nurturing seeds of confidence in a young life. Children thrive on words of encouragement and actions that express genuine interest. We all do. And there's good reason to set our hopes high. Human achievement in the 21st century is so jaw-dropping that it is difficult even to imagine any hard limits. We can travel around the world at our leisure and store 10 million books on a keychain in our pocket. The potential of children and young adults in our technologically advanced generation seems boundless. What a joy it is to fuel that courage. The actions of an insightful parent or educator can spark an interest that lasts a lifetime and makes history. Simple, earnest words of support can shape a life, echoing in the mind and soul of a person across decades. Even the boldest of us can sometimes need an uplifting word to boost our spirits. After facing the immense challenges of the American Civil War and distinguishing himself as one of the great leaders of all time, President Abraham Lincoln was assassinated on April 14, 1865. Tucked in his wallet were several folded newspaper clippings, many of which were complimentary of his leadership decisions. After all his victories and accomplishments, Lincoln still found some solace in those encouraging words. Where is your bar set? And how is your bar set where it is? These are essential questions that we cannot afford to neglect. Our perceived limits have precise origins and broad outgrowths that we ought to explore aggressively. Henry Ford humorously said, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right." Natural limits are real. Most of us will never run a 4-minute mile, but too often we short ourselves by a simple lack of vision. Often short-sightedness traces back to an early criticism or unkind word that tarnished the hopes of a child or young adult. In some cases, well-meaning doctors have hastily and imprecisely diagnosed patients. This is a special risk for mental health professionals who can pronounce diagnoses even without clear physical evidence. 1 in 6 adults in America uses a mood-altering drug, and many others have been given labels that provide little but discouragement for their hopes. Mental illnesses are serious, but there is hope for every condition in this life. Sadly, even the best of doctors can fail to see the larger context of that hope. People are much more than statistics. Living human beings have living potential that is not generic. No amount of charting or written descriptions can do a person justice. Even the best biographies about a person should not be confused with the truth of the person himself or herself. Life consists of more than a mechanical body, and to be human is a great privilege that we should never underestimate. Human potential goes far beyond physical strength and brain power. Each of us has a personality that is truly unique. We also have the potential to value other personalities and principles of right and wrong. We can appreciate values such as justice, mercy, beauty, and love. And whether for better or for worse, internal values are what undergird all we do. We do whatever we think is most important, and if nothing is important to us, then we will tend to do nothing. What is important to one person may seem like a waste to another, and it is a person's unique personality that determines what is most important to him or her. Internal values are real and powerful. They are in fact among the most outstanding evidence that we are more than a body. I recall a conversation I shared with an enthusiastic young atheist man one day. "One thing I don't like about being an atheist," he said candidly, "is that when things go well, I don't have anyone to thank." This young man, Tyler, had been immersed in secular humanism, and although he was enthusiastic about it, he was still modest enough to recognize some providential gifts in his life. Tyler's willingness to appreciate these gifts was not taught by literature. It was an internal value that saw through the illogic of ingratitude. Human potential is a gift.